Tattoo artists of Reddit, what was the weirdest / most disturbing tattoo a customer wanted? When I worked as a tattoo artist, a guy wanted us to tattoo his name on his infant baby, because as he put it, she's trying to say that's not my son. We threatened to call the guard because what the actual hell? We wouldn't tattoo anyone under the age of 18, even with parental consent, and we certainly wouldn't tattoo a baby. I had to laugh when I saw the episode of Archer, where he and the baby get tattoos. It was a grim reminder. I have a friend that tattooed on herself the word spite onto her leg when she was 14, but anytime she wears socks it looks like it says spit. It looking like spit is the least of the problems with that tattoo. Well, hey, it's pretty punk either way. My brother got his own name on his chest, not sure why. Johnny? I actually know a Johnny who did this. As do I. Does he happen to live in Moscow? Has Russia's greatest love machine. And lover of the Russian queen. Interestingly enough, no, he actually lives in the US. I mean, with all the brutal stuff he has seen, that's the least of his problems. Bravo. I went to high school with a kid with the last name Strong. On his 18th birthday he got only the Strong survive and script across his chest. Strong was spelled wrong. How you can spell strong bad? Stark? Strang, I think it was lol. My wife is a tattoo artist. She had a woman come in and ask her to lighten up her lady parts. The client thought they were too dark. After some talk, my wife agreed. They got everything ready, prepared, shaved, etc. She touches the woman's bits with the needle and she just screams. Can't do it. So this woman has a slightly pink little dot on her now. It's the weirdest. Is it really possible to make the skin lighter if it is dark? I would have thought the colors just don't show up as well on darker skin. I was apprenticing with my dad at his tattoo parlor, and on this particular day I had nothing to do, so I was just cleaning and answering calls. A 50-something-year-old man came in wearing denim shorts and thong sandals with a whiffer beater on and the most magnificent mullet. He asked about finishing a tattoo he had gotten in Thailand. I asked him to show me, and when he did I couldn't even comprehend what was happening with it. It was a full back piece of a koala with one foot on the ground and the other on a fallen bottle of VB, holding a tattered Australian flag up in one hand, and shooting an AK-47 into the distance with the other. The koala also had the Southern Cross tattered on its chest. I referred him to another artist, and after they spoke he left. I haven't seen him since. All in all, a very weird encounter with the most boggin Aussie you could think of. And people say Americans are patriotic. To be fair, we don't have the Australian flag hanging from every surface. Going to go send my bald eagle to confirm that. BRB edit. Okay, so turns out he doesn't know what an Australian flag is, but he spread some freedom so everything's okay. He got into a duel with an emu, but he shot it in the head with my M16, so it's all good. That must be the Aussie version of America Tattoo, where a bald eagle is doing something similar. A friend who's a tattoo artist once told me about a guy who came in to have his own face tattooed onto his chest. His reasoning was, even if he got old, he could get chicks by showing what he looked like. Needless to say, when I told my dad about this, he beat me up with a bunch of jumper cables. You're a Jersemen 10. Almost. I missed those posts. Nice. What did I miss? Look at your Jersemen 10's profile. I'm not a tattoo artist, but my mom was in the early 2000s. She spoke and wrote Chinese very well, and she would tell me stories about people who got tattoos with the wrong meaning. In my area there are legends of this one tattoo artist who bought a can of tuna from China and tattooed random characters from the list of ingredients whenever someone asked for a Chinese tattoo with a deep meaning. I had a friend who was an artist and he would put up a page of flash in his shop with kanji for asshole, jerk, bastard, etc. If anyone asked the meaning he would tell them honestly, but he had several that just saw it, thought it looked cool, and would get it done without ever asking the meaning. That should be a job. An on-call native Chinese speaker writer that you can consult to make sure you don't tattoo small BBQ grill on yourself. Now I kinda want small BBQ grill tattooed on my shoulder. Be like Ariana Grande and get it on the palm of your hand. Please share. Once I saw this white lady with carrot done on her bicep. Separately they mean carrot love and beauty. Together they mean vain lol. Did she try to tell them? It's a tattoo that I want. I want made in Japan on my ass, in red. My parents met there during Vietnam, and I was conceived. I've asked about it, then chicken out. My dad has a stamp tattooed on the back of his shoulder that says, made in New Zealand from Australian parts. He was born here, but his parents are Aussies. I think it's great. Similar style to this, but not in color. Not me, but my cousin the woman wanted. Mom, you told me not to get a tattoo. Well look. This is what you get for divorcing dad. I really hope she got it removed. I know it's not, but I want this to be a full back piece in script. My cousin the woman don't know exactly why, but this struck a chord in me. My cousin the woman Lmaru WTF. At my shop last year we had an older lady come in and ask us to tattoo her eyebrows. Not an uncommon request, even though we don't do cosmetic tattooing, but rather than regular brows she wanted them to look like greyhound dogs running off her face. She was deadly serious too. Needless to say we refused. Needless. Not an artist, but as an eavesdropping customer, a lady who was 8 months pregnant. I still have 4 weeks, it's fine. Wanted her baby's due date down her spine. What if the baby was early or late? After some back and forth with the artist saying he was not comfortable with her being so close to due, they came to an agreement to put it on the side of her neck. Definitely took my mind off my own session. My brother got a grenade on his ankle, calf, somewhere in that area. Had a pregnancy scare with a super bitch who used him for his money while the kid wasn't even his. When the paternity test came back 0%, he got the due date tattooed on the side of the grenade. He later regretted it because it was holding on to resentment and hate and got it inked over in flat black. +1 for personal growth. How is the side of her neck better than her spine? Less painful, sure, but a way dumber place to get it. WTF. Sounds like you go to a pretty shady shop. You aren't supposed to tattoo pregnant women at all. It doesn't matter what part of the body the tattoo is on. Once a kinda weird looking guy came into my store. L pointer. He told me to draw in his arm a pic of her girl. It was Mia Khalifa. I was actually have a tattoo done when this happened. I was talking about how my dad used ink and pen when he was kid as a sort of blood brother pact with a friend. They did 3 dots on their hand in a little triangle. The tattoo artist joked and asked if he was ever in a gang. 3 dots on knuckles usually means you've been in prison or in some sort of gang. My dad had been in neither. 15 minutes later a guy walks in with 3 dots on his knuckles. He wanted cover-ups. I just thought that was really cool. We had a guy who came into the shop monthly to get the word whore tattooed on him. Always in different sizes and font script. Eventually we caved and asked what it was about. We assumed he just had a girlfriend partner. Turns out he'd misheard the name Thor and claimed to be a Norse pagan. We tried to tell him about the correct spelling, even showing him in books and online. He wasn't having it. I saw him a month or so ago with whore tattooed on his forehead. A friend of mine got a boom how from King of the Hill with a Goku Super Saiyan 3 hair. He still loves it, and to be honest so do I. Better than getting Bill tattooed on the back of your head, I tell her what. I'm the one with the tattoo. When I asked my artist what the weirdest tattoo she's ever done is, she told me the one she did on my leg. It's a cute tat of a deer with a hunter in camouflage, impaled on the deer's antlers and the hunter's guts spilling out. Then it has a banner with cute lettering with the words, "If you hunt you're a cunt." I tipped her $100 on it cause I love it so much. I'm curious about this one. Would you mind sharing a picture? Also username checks out. Hunters are usually the first people to report that there is something wrong with an ecosystem because they are usually invested in the well-being of that ecosystem. Not into tattoo artist. However, the guy I used to go to in Japan would have all of the stencils from the tattoos has done on the walls around the area. While getting one of my tattoos by him, I noticed that someone had asked him to tattoo an American pin-up girl riding an atomic bomb with the words "little boy" written on it, and he actually did it. I thought it was pretty rude to ask him to do that tattoo. It was near a military base, so it was probably an American that got it. I was even more surprised that he did it. I'm looking to become a tattoo artist. In high school I knew a guy who got the inside of his lower lip tattooed, so when he flipped his lip open you could read the word in lettering. That was actually quite nice pizza. Not a tattooist, but have many. While getting my chest colored, a guy sat down next to me and said he was getting a piece of broccoli riding a skateboard. I didn't ask why,